What's going on, guys? So I'm over here on Bangkok's Green Mile. You can kind of see it behind me there. I'm gonna walk down here over to the park in Queen Sirikit. It's called Benjakitti, I think, maybe, or Benjakitti. I always get that one wrong, but I'm gonna give a walk down here and just hang out, enjoy the scenery, and then walk around the park a bit. But I thought, you know, while I'm walking down here, I wanted to talk about how you steal like an artist and not just steal, how not just rip something off. That's quite a popular topic with me lately, talking to some other people who think it's just okay to steal. So we'll get into my thoughts on that, but let's enjoy the scenery. Let's go. All right, guys, here we are at the start of the Green Mile. Gonna walk down this all the way to Queen Sirikit, and a little traffic here, but over here is Lumpini, but that's not where we're going today. We're gonna find our way, like I said, down to Queen Sirikit. And this is always a busy place. You'll actually see a lot of people taking photos like this, just because the area makes such for a great backdrop. And do me a favor, guys, don't forget to give the video a like. That helps me give the YouTube algorithm a little tickle, and maybe a few more people end up seeing this video. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. I'm actually posting a video a day pretty much right now, but who knows, that may change in the future. We will see. So yeah, we're getting down to the main part of the Green Mile here, and I think, well, oh, that guy's taking photos over there, so I'll go this way. I don't want to mess up his composition. And let's see how Hyper Smooth handles these stairs. Gonna be a lot of stairs today for sure. And you guys can see all the people taking photos, and there will be a lot more. And basically just because this area offers such a great backdrop for photography, so why not take advantage of it? So if you guys don't know, the Green Mile cuts through from Lumpini over to, I think it's called Benjakitti Park, over by Queen Sirikit. If I'm wrong, which I'm sure I am, I'll have Jib correct me and I'll put it down below. Like I said though, today on this walk, I wanted to kind of just chat about the idea of steal like an artist, right? Don't just rip something off. And you know, it essentially comes down to, you know, be inspired, be original, but I'll get a bit more into it. I actually had someone tell me not that long ago, this guy, granted it's coming from someone who is not at all creative, that, you know, they essentially do this all the time, but they were arguing that if you just copy someone's idea, it's their fault for making it copyable, right? And that's just, to be honest, that's a scumbag way of looking at it. You know, looking at the idea of like, you can just copy anyone's work. No matter how much thought or creativity or design energy and process they put into it, hey, it's okay to just copy it. Great view of the city there. Beautiful buildings. A little bit more photography going on. And here's a parking garage. There'll be a lot of interesting sights right along the walkway here for sure as we go. So again, back to the idea that it's okay to just copy whatever you want. Not at all true, 100% false. You know, the idea of steal like an artist is, you know, see something, be inspired by it, you know, understand the originality behind it, and take that and do something else with what you're doing. Like, do something else unique based on that previous work. Don't just go out and copy it wholesale. It's just very much a scumbag way to go about things. Oh, a lot of people with the, what they call skate surf decks, where you can push back and forth and get momentum. So yeah, I'm gonna dive into that wholeheartedly. We're coming up on a cool area of the walk here where there are quite a few of these old traditional wooden Thai houses along the walk, with the backdrop of, you know, modern skyscrapers right behind them. Obviously this walk was built right over a soy that cut through one of these neighborhoods. You know, the design on a lot of these houses is really great, and you can see what they did here with the power lines. They just built it. Oh, there we go. Built it straight up. There's actually a mosque over here somewhere too, if I didn't pass it already. Some fantastic neighborhoods around here though. Again, just great little architecture. There's a klong here. Maybe for one of my klong walks, come down to this soy. But back to the idea of originality. It's the same reason you can't just copy a song word for word, note for note that someone makes. You can't see a painting that a painter created and then just rip it off altogether. You know, that's not creativity, that's not design, that's just theft. It's uninspired, it's wholesale robbery. And it's not fair to, you know, the original creator, the designer, the artist, whoever it might be, if that's what you do. The difference between being inspired by that and stealing is when you're inspired by something, you see something deeper to it. You see structure, you see inspiration, you see, you know, some aspect of it that speaks to you. And when you identify that, you're able to take that aspect that speaks to you and create something completely unique and original. It may be inspired by that piece, but it's not that piece. There's the nice roof of a temple, Thai temple. Nice color play there. The green in the middle with the gold and then the orange. You know, so again, being original, being inspired is completely okay. But for someone to say that if you're able to copy it, it's okay to copy. One, just it's such a scumbag thing to do, and also just a broken way of thinking, an uncreative, uninspired way of thinking. It's a really great walkway, the Green Mile. And you see people out here skateboarding, running, just walking, a lot of photography going on. Such a fun place. Some more of these older houses up here. I want to be careful filming some of these houses because sometimes people will just open them up completely. And when they do that, like you can see right in, so I want to avoid that. Oh, this guy's good. Better than me. Oh, here's the mosque I was talking about. Nice building. I bet you that's loud during call to prayer though. Oh yeah, it looks like someone's house up here is all open up, so I'm not gonna film that way as I go by. Oh, some nice flowers here. These pink and white ones. Quite nice. Pick this ball up for these kids. I once, not over here in this part of the bridge in the Green Mile, but further down where there's a klong, I once lost my skateboard. I was actually skateboarding over here and I fell and kicked it under the rail into the klong. Needless to say, that was lost. So, some nice buildings over here. One of my favorite buildings is up just a little ways. It's actually right here. We'll get a better view of it as we get closer. So, being inspired by something and creating something different, and I'll throw this out there because I have a friend, my buddy, he's very into watches. He has a channel actually called The Bold Hairspring. And he does reviews of watches, and he does sometimes of what they call homage pieces, which I often feel sort of skirt the line between inspired by and straight up copy. And it can be a very fine line when you look at how that's put together. Some of them are very, very similar to the piece they're supposed to be an homage to. But again, a lot of those pieces don't have the internal workings where the real kind of design and engineering and beauty of those pieces are. I don't know if you guys can see it here, but these buildings here, I believe they're called Millennium Tower. I always used to call them Stock Tower. Some nice old houses again with newer buildings right on the backdrop. Again, that juxtaposition of design adds so much texture to this city. So homage and inspiration aside, the idea of being inspired by other people's works is fine, in my opinion. I'm often inspired by artists and designers from all different disciplines: architecture, painting, drawing, music. I find inspiration in a lot of their work. Actually, I once designed a jacket that was very much inspired by a freestyle by Black Thought on Funk Flex, and I'll throw a card up above if you guys want to check out that video. But it was just a couple of bars in that song that really inspired me. And as a result, I ended up coming up with this jacket design. So being inspired by something and creating because of that inspiration, it's one of the things that I think actually a lot of us as creatives or designers strive for, is to have other people inspired by our work. And content's very much the same thing. If you just go out and wholesale copy someone's video frame for frame, shot for shot, that's not an original work, that's not even an inspired work. That's just a blatant ripoff. But if you look at their style and you understand their edits and their transitions and how they go about it, then you create something completely unique. That is an inspiration. Let's make our way up these stairs. It's probably gonna get a little loud when we get to the top because we'll be passing over a highway. So let's see how that sounds. Some roosters out here. I see someone's got a pigeon pen out there as well. Huh. Let's see how loud this is. Oh, there's my building. One of my favorites in all of Bangkok. So beautiful out here, guys. Surrounded by green, right in the middle of the city. And what a great piece of urban design. Cutting right through the city, two parts, connecting them, fantastic. Here's where part of that forest is going in. They'll basically connect these two parts into one big massive park. Down some stairs here. Ooh. I love how they just let the tree grow right through. They actually built the railing around the idea of the tree. You know, it's designed essentially to accommodate nature. It's nice as instead of them just chopping the tree off, to just build around it. Some old houses on the Klong there. This looks like a pump station. This might also be where they clear the trash out of the Klong. It's It's kind of a hot day, so let's see how long I can record before the camera shuts off due to overheating. It's not in direct sun though, the sun's behind me, so let's see. There's some of these houses here. So here's my favorite building. You can see the large white one in the background. Absolutely beautiful. The way the balconies are built out for the units, the way it's just expanded. You know, and you look at it and you're like, oh, it's got columns to it, but it doesn't. They're actually cut off on the back side in angles. So there isn't actually columns. It's really an interesting design if you ask me. Very beautiful. It has a very overbuilt, brutalist aesthetic to it, which I really, really appreciate. Gorgeous building. Absolutely something special about it. Every time I walk by here, I have to stop and gaze at it because it's so breathtaking to me. And again, some of these older buildings here with this building in the background, such a nice aesthetic to it. So great. So yeah, that's basically my thought. Like, if you're stealing someone's art frame for frame, design for design, line for line, word for word, that's theft. You're stealing, you're a scumbag, you're an asshole, whatever. But if someone's work is so beautiful and so inspiring to you that it moves you to create something unique, that's different. The way that you take those elements and you transform them into your own work and your own style is important. So many steps. I love it. Now, what do you guys think about this? Have you ever faced these issues before? With people who think, you can just copy whatever. It's the designer's or it's the artist's fault for not making it uncopyable. A little sneak peek of the forest, where it's being built. And this soy here cuts right up to Nana. Straight up to Sukhumvit here. Coconut up there, huh? Nice. The starting point of this klong, I guess. Oh, some very cute doggies. Someone threw a plastic bin in the klong. That's not great. This house is on the brink of collapse. The sun's still pretty high in the sky. Take a look back here again. The forest. So I've talked enough about copying. So obviously in stealing design and stealing creativity, I don't want to focus on that as much, but I want to talk about being inspired by other work and incorporating that into your work. A lot of times if I'm flipping through art books or I'm looking at other designs, despite that I might like the overall aesthetic of a design, it's usually a specific piece that will actually speak to me. And that piece, that element, is something I'll focus in on. How can I take that element and integrate it into my work? Or how can I iterate that in a way that applies it to what I do? So that's one of the things that I'm often wondering about. That's a great shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, soy mock. Let's try to scooch by this guy. Don't mess up his framing either. So like I said, it's an individual element that I'll usually be drawn to in some way. And I want to look at that element and try to determine how I can integrate that into my own design or my own work, but still make it unique, still iterate it in a way that is unique to me and still speaks to my style, so it doesn't look like I'm just ripping someone else's style off. This is a great building. I wonder if that outdoor section in the middle there, I wonder if that's one person's or if that's a common area. That's huge. Quite nice. Some great buildings. Yeah, I love these old concrete design styles. Here's my building again. You can see the way the back is done up here. So beautiful. Such a great building. Some really good light right now too. I'll give an example of a pair of jeans, because a lot of you guys know I design jeans. I have a number of clients in the US who buy jeans, my designs for their brands. And I'll often look at old vintage lookbooks of denim. So whether it's old Levi's collections or Wranglers or just early American sort of brandless jeans, a lot of people like that vintage look right now. So I'll look at the elements that were prevalent or ubiquitous in that vintage style that they're looking for and determine how to incorporate that into a very modern style of jeans that I make. And again, I'm not just straight wholesale copying other elements. It's looking at what were the stitch types, what did the cuts look like, what did today's cuts look like, how can one inform the other? And then creating a piece that is uniquely modern with a vintage aesthetic. And that's not a process that just happens. I don't just sit down and draft a pair of jeans or draft a style for someone. I spend days combing through vintage aesthetics, looking at old photos, looking at how they were worn, how they fit, how they were constructed. And then I develop a design or a style for that client. So I'm not just wholesale copying something. I'm getting inspired by a range of pieces from a similar time or with a similar aesthetic. And then applying that aesthetic to the more modern style that I design with. So again, I'm inspired by a lot of things, and I'm not trying to just straight up copy from someone. Whereas if I were to just buy an old pattern, copy it line for line, scale it, and then sell it as my own, that's theft. And unfortunately, it seems like that's what a lot of people, especially in the garment industry, that's what a lot of people feel is okay. And, you know, it's upsetting, but at the same time, it's not going to change the way I approach design or creativity. I'm going to still be inspired by a range of things, and I'm going to continue to create unique pieces and unique pieces of design and art that speak to me and hopefully to my clients. What a beautiful tree. Beautiful green leaves, pink flowers. Really, really nice. So, you know, I hope you guys do the same thing. If you're creating something, if you're making something, find your inspiration from a wide array of source material. And then let that inform your design decisions. Let that inform, inspire your creativity, and that will carry you through. I love just the backdrop of the city walking through here. So windy, so nice. So wonderful. Just this little green mile. This little section of the city is super creative, like this super just natural area. Cuts right between two main parts. From Lumpini over to Queen Sirikit. So what's funny is this is Queen Sirikit Center and there's a park over here, but that's not Queen Sirikit Park. Queen Sirikit Park is actually over by Chatuchak. Something that a lot of people get confused. I got confused for a long time until Jib thankfully corrected me. Oh, what a beautiful sky. This is another gorgeous building. Plane flying overhead. I don't know if you guys can see that. It might be too small. And we're getting back here to Benjakitti, so I want to go ahead and just sort of conclude this, I guess. I thank you guys for taking this walk with me and talking about stealing like an artist, not like a thief. All right, guys, until next time, keep taking action. Make your ideas reality.